Cybersecurity Monthly News, May 2026, by DuoCircle.com. Medtronic cyberattack confirmed. Medtronic confirmed a major cyberattack linked to the Shiny Hunters Group. Hackers claim to steal over 9 million records and terabytes of corporate data. The breach adds to rising cybersecurity concerns across the healthcare and medical device industry. Critical Panel 0-Day. A critical panel flaw, tracked as CVE 202641940, allowed attackers to fully compromise servers without authentication. The 0-Day affected around 1.5 million exposed systems and fueled sorry ransomware attacks worldwide. CISA ordered urgent patching after adding the flaw to its exploited vulnerabilities catalog. Linux root access flaw. Researchers disclosed the Linux privilege escalation flaw, CVE 202631431, called copy fail. The vulnerability lets local users gain root access on nearly all Linux distributions released since 2017. Cloud and Kubernetes environments are especially vulnerable because the flaw can also enable container escapes. GitHub R CE vulnerability. A critical GitHub vulnerability tracked as CVE 202638854 allowed remote code execution through a single git push command. The flaw affected both GitHub Enterprise Server and GitHub.com environments. Researchers warned that 88% of self-hosted GitHub Enterprise Server instances remained vulnerable after disclosure. Silk Typhoon extradition. Chinese national Xu Zhui was extradited from Italy to the United States over alleged Silk Typhoon cyber espionage attacks. Prosecutors say the group targeted over 60,000 U.S. organizations and stole sensitive information. China denied involvement and opposed the extradition. Liberty Mutual breach. Liberty Mutual was allegedly breached by the Everest ransomware group. Attackers claimed to steal more than 100 GB of policyholder data and threatened publication. The incident continues a series of high-profile attacks claimed by Everest. PyTorch package poisoned. Attackers compromised the PyTorch Lightning package in a software supply chain attack. Malicious versions 2.6.2 and 2.6.3 were designed to steal credentials using hidden payloads. The poison package was later quarantined by PyPy. Black Cat insider sentencing. 2 cybersecurity professionals were sentenced to 4 years in prison for enabling Black Cat ransomware attacks. The group targeted multiple U.S. victims between April and December 2023. One conspirator abused insider insurance information to pressure victims into larger ransom payments. Medical industry attack wave. The Medtronic breach is part of a broader wave of cyberattacks targeting medical device manufacturers in 2026. Companies including Stryker and Intuitive Surgical have also suffered major disruptions and data theft. Security experts warn that dual extortion ransomware is reshaping healthcare cyber risks. Tron infrastructure breach. Tron disclosed a cyber intrusion involving its smart meter and infrastructure systems. The company said it detected unauthorized access on April 13 and launched an investigation. The breach raised concerns about the security of critical energy and water infrastructure. Deep Door Backdoor campaign. Researchers uncovered a stealthy Python-based backdoor called Deep Door targeting enterprise administrators. The malware disables Windows, security tools, and establishes long-term persistence on infected systems. Attackers used SEO poisoning, GitHub distribution, and blockchain-based command infrastructure to evade detection. State cybersecurity confidence drops. A new NAS-CIO Deloitte study found only 22% of U.S. state CISOs believe their data is protected from cyber threats. Officials cited AI-driven attacks, vendor risks, and budget limitations as key concerns. Experts urged governments to prioritize cyber resilience at leadership levels. Freight industry cybercrime. The FBI warned that cybercriminals are hacking trucking brokers and carriers to steal cargo for resale. Attackers are increasingly combining digital intrusions with physical theft operations. The scheme allows criminals to profit from stolen goods with relatively low technical effort after initial access. Pre-Stuxnet malware discovery. Researchers discovered FAST16, a malware framework dating back to 2005 that predates Stuxnet. The malware targeted precision calculation software to sabotage results. Its discovery suggests state-sponsored cyberweapons existed years earlier than previously believed. Investment Fraud Network. Europol and international law enforcement dismantled a major online investment fraud network operating across Europe. Authorities conducted coordinated raids targeting infrastructure used for fake investment schemes. Investigators said criminals increasingly use AI-generated content and deepfakes to deceive victims. Microsoft Intra ID flaw. Microsoft patched an Intra ID flaw that could enable service principal takeover in Azure environments. Attackers could have exploited the issue for privilege escalation and broader cloud access. Organizations were advised to apply updates immediately and review permissions. Zara customer breach. Zara suffered a data breach exposing information belonging to nearly 200,000 customers. The attackers were linked to multiple recent breaches targeting major global companies and organizations. The incident adds Zara to a growing list of high-profile consumer brands compromised in 2026. Medtronic data theft. Medtronic confirmed a cyberattack involving unauthorized access to corporate IT systems. Shiny hunters claimed to steal over 9 million records and terabytes of sensitive data. Medtronic stated the breach did not impact patient safety, products, or manufacturing operations. Trellix repository breach. Trellix confirmed unauthorized access to part of its source code repository. Ransom House claimed responsibility, and researchers suggested the breach may involve deeper enterprise infrastructure exposure. Trellix said there is no evidence its software release process was compromised. Ivanti zero-day exploited. A critical Ivanti EPMM vulnerability tracked as CVE 202666973 is under active exploitation. The flaw allows authenticated administrators to achieve remote code execution on vulnerable systems. CISA ordered federal agencies to patch within 4 days. TCLB ANK-ER Banking Trojan. Researchers discovered the Brazilian banking Trojan TCLB ANK-ER targeting 59 financial and cryptocurrency platforms. The malware spreads through fake Logitech installers and steals credentials using realistic banking overlays. It also propagates through compromised WhatsApp web sessions and Microsoft Outlook phishing emails. Massive Patch Tuesday. Microsoft fixed 165 vulnerabilities during its May 2026 Patch Tuesday release. The updates included an actively exploited SharePoint zero-day tracked as CVE 20263220201. Security teams were urged to prioritize patching internet exposed SharePoint servers immediately. Dirty Frag vulnerability. A new Linux zero-day called Dirty Frag allows attackers to gain root privileges with a single command. The flaw affects most major Linux distributions and follows the earlier copy fail vulnerability. Administrators were advised to monitor vendor guidance and apply kernel patches quickly. GeForce NO-W breach. An NVIDIA GeForce NO-W Alliance partner in Armenia disclosed a major backend database breach. The intrusion exposed user information for accounts created before March 9, 2026. NVIDIA confirmed passwords were not compromised in the incident. Cushman data leak. Cushman and Wakefield confirmed a phishing-related ransomware breach. Shiny hunters claimed to steal more than 500,000 Salesforce records containing sensitive corporate and personal information. The data was leaked after alleged ransom negotiations failed. Insider sabotage plot. A Virginia man was convicted for plotting to destroy dozens of government databases after losing his contractor job. The case highlights the dangers posed by insiders with privileged system access. Experts stress the need for immediate credential revocation after employee termination. Roblox hijacking ring. Ukrainian police dismantled a cybercrime ring that hijacked over 610,000 Roblox accounts. The attackers earned around $225,000 by selling stolen accounts through underground markets. Authorities warned that gaming platforms remain major targets for credential theft. Fake app scam. Researchers found fraudulent Google Play apps claiming to provide phone call history information. The apps generated over 7.3 million downloads while tricking users into expensive fake subscriptions. The incident renewed concerns about App Store security and vetting processes. China-linked espionage campaign. A China-linked PT group has been conducting cyber espionage campaigns across South America and Southeastern Europe. Government entities were targeted as part of long-term intelligence gathering operations. Researchers urged stronger monitoring, network segmentation, and third-party access reviews. Cisco SD WAN 0 Day. Cisco patched a critical SD WAN controller flaw, tracked as CVE 202620182, with a CVSS score of 10.0. The vulnerability allows attackers to bypass authentication and gain high-privileged access through crafted requests. CISA confirmed active exploitation and ordered urgent remediation by federal agencies. NGIN X Legacy Vulnerability. An 18-year-old NGIN X flaw, tracked as CVE 202642945, is being actively exploited after public disclosure. The vulnerability allows attackers to crash servers or potentially execute remote code through crafted HTTP requests. Researchers warned the incident highlights the need for continuous security scanning of mature software projects. Foxconn ransomware attack. Foxconn confirmed a cyber attack affecting some North American operations. The Nitrogen threat group claimed to steal more than 8 terabytes of sensitive company data and hardware schematics. Security experts warned the breach could impact both Foxconn and its technology partners. Grafana token theft. Grafana Labs disclosed that attackers downloaded its GitHub codebase after stealing privileged tokens. The breach was linked to a vulnerable GitHub action workflow, exposing production secrets during CI runs. Grafana stated no customer data or systems were affected by the incident. OpenAI supply chain. OpenAI confirmed 2 employee devices were compromised during the Tanstack supply chain attack. The attack involved malicious upstream npm and pipe-by packages affecting hundreds of dependencies. OpenAI said no production systems, intellectual property, or user data were impacted. Node exe package poisoned. Researchers discovered malicious versions of the popular npm package node IPC containing credential-stealing malware. The malware used DNS tunneling and a fake Microsoft domain to secretly exfiltrate stolen information. Developers were urged to immediately audit systems using affected Node exe versions. PANOS 0 Day. Palo Alto Networks disclosed a critical PANOS vulnerability tracked as CVE 202603000. The flaw allows unauthenticated remote code execution with root privileges and was exploited as a 0-day. Researchers linked post-exploitation activity to tactics commonly associated with Chinese state-backed threat groups. Exchange server exploitation. Microsoft warned of active exploitation targeting a Microsoft Exchange server 0-day tracked as CVE 202642897. The vulnerability allows cross-site scripting attacks through crafted emails. CISA ordered federal agencies to apply mitigations while Microsoft prepares a permanent patch. Typhoon groups expand. China-linked threat groups Salt Typhoon and Twill Typhoon expanded operations against energy and Asia-Pacific targets. Salt Typhoon notably shifted focus toward oil and gas infrastructure using advanced malware delivery techniques. Analysts warned nation-state actors increasingly view critical infrastructure as strategic cyber targets. Fragnesia kernel flaw. Researchers disclosed Fragnesia, a new Linux kernel privilege escalation vulnerability tracked as CVE 202646300. The flaw is the third major Linux root access bug identified within 2 weeks. Linux vendors released urgent patches to prevent attackers from gaining full system control. Ghostwriter phishing campaign. The Belarus-aligned Ghostwriter, a PT, targeted Ukrainian government organizations using geofenced phishing attacks. Malicious PDF payloads only activated for victims located in specific geographic regions. Researchers said the tactic helps attackers evade automated security analysis systems. Point2 own Berlin results. Security researchers earned over $900,000 at Point2 own Berlin 2026 after exposing dozens of zero-day vulnerabilities. The event uncovered critical flaws affecting Windows 11, Microsoft Exchange, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Experts said the competition demonstrates how many undiscovered attack paths still exist in major software products. WordPress plugin exploited. Attackers actively exploited a critical vulnerability in the Funnel Builder plugin for WordPress. The attacks injected malicious scripts into WooCommerce checkout pages to steal payment card information. Store owners were advised to immediately update the plugin and review transaction activity. Turla botnet upgrade. The Russia-linked Turla APT upgraded its Kazwar malware into a modular peer-to-peer botnet. The new architecture improves resilience by removing dependence on centralized command and control servers. Security experts warned the change makes disruption and attribution significantly harder. Email security importance. SP, FDKIM, and DMARC remain critical defenses against phishing, spoofing, and ransomware attacks. These email authentication technologies help organizations block fraudulent messages and protect domains. Security experts recommend stronger adoption as cyberattacks continue to escalate globally. GitHub repository breach. GitHub confirmed attackers accessed and cloned around 3,800 internal repositories. The breach began through a malicious Visual Studio Code extension installed on an employee device. Team PCP and LAP, EU's USU, later attempted to sell the stolen repositories on cybercrime forums. 7-Eleven data breach. 7-Eleven confirmed a major breach linked to the Shiny Hunters extortion group. Attackers exposed more than 600,000 Salesforce records containing franchisee and corporate data. The company said the incident mainly affected franchise applicants rather than retail customers. YC Hospital breach. NYC Health Plus Hospitals disclosed a breach affecting at least 1.8 million patients and employees. Attackers accessed medical records, government IDs, and biometric information over several months. Experts warned stolen fingerprint and palm print data creates permanent privacy risk. Grafana supply chain. Grafana Labs confirmed its GitHub environment was compromised during the Tanstack supply chain attack. Attackers used stolen GitHub workflow tokens to access and download source code repositories. Grafana refused the ransom demand and reported no impact on customer production systems. CISA GitHub exposure. CISA investigated a contractor's public GitHub repository exposing sensitive AWS GovCloud credentials. The repository contained passwords, tokens, Kubernetes files, and internal deployment documentation. Security researchers said the exposed credentials remained active for nearly 48 hours after discovery. Drupal SQL injection. The Drupal project patched a critical SQL injection vulnerability tracked as CVE 20269-082. The flaw allows attackers to exploit PostgreSQL-backed Drupal sites without authentication. Security firms observed active attacks shortly after disclosure, prompting urgent patching recommendations. Undermine CDN threat. Researchers disclosed a shared CDN vulnerability called Underminer affecting around 88 million domains. The flaw allows attackers to disguise malicious traffic behind trusted domains using advanced domain fronting techniques. Experts warned AI-powered malware campaigns could rapidly weaponize the vulnerability at scale. Operation Rams arrests. Interpol announced that Operation Rams led to 201 cybercrime arrests across the MENA region. Authorities disrupted phishing, malware, and scam infrastructure while seizing dozens of servers. Investigators also uncovered human trafficking victims forced into cybercrime operations. Trump mobile exposure. Trump Mobile exposed customer information through a third-party platform failure. Researchers accessed data linked to roughly 30,000 phone orders and around 10,000 customers. The exposed records included names, addresses, emails, and mobile numbers. Evil Tokens MFA bypass. New phishing as a service platforms called Evil Tokens and Kali 365 are bypassing Microsoft 365 multi-factor authentication protections. Attackers exploit device code authentication flows to steal auth access tokens through legitimate Microsoft login pages. The FBI warned the platforms lower the technical barrier for large-scale phishing campaigns. First VPN abuse. The FBI warned that at least 25 ransomware groups used the First VPN service for network intrusions. The service has been promoted heavily on Russian-language cybercrime forums since 2014. Authorities released indicators of compromise to help organizations identify related malicious activity. Trellix source code. Trellix disclosed a breach involving unauthorized access to part of its source code repository. The Ransom House Group claimed responsibility and published the company on its leak site. Experts warned attackers could study the stolen code to bypass Trellix security products. OpenAI supply chain. OpenAI confirmed 2 employee devices were impacted during the Tanstack supply chain attack. The breach affected a limited number of internal repositories and exposed application signing keys. OpenAI stated no products or customer data were compromised. NGINX vulnerability exploited. A critical NGINX vulnerability tracked as CVE2026429445 is being actively exploited in the wild. The flaw can cause denial of service attacks or remote code execution under certain conditions. Administrators were urged to immediately patch affected NGINX installations. Shiny Hunters rampage. The Shiny Hunters cybercrime group claimed attacks against organizations including Zara, Carnival, and Pitney Bowes. Several victims were allegedly targeted after failed ransom negotiations involving stolen SaaS platform data. Security experts warned organizations to urgently review Salesforce and third-party access controls. For cybersecurity-related solutions, please visit us at DuoCircle.com today. You can call us at 1-8557-001386 or email support@duocircle.com.